What's up, everybody? Flyer Lie Podcast, episode 11. It should be episode 12, but one of the two of us, Mitch, appears to be a technology idiot. That's me. I'm the idiot. So, if you were looking for us last week, I actually got pictures from people last week that were refreshing our page. Where's the podcast? They were refreshing, waiting for us. So, anyways, I apologize. That was my fault. My computer was about to explode, basically, and our podcast runs on my computer. So I tried to replace a part, and I thought it was going to take an hour, and it took 5. So, anyways, that's how that happened. So I apologize. We were supposed to have our friend Chris Kinda on last week, who's with us this week.
I guess.
So he is gracious enough to hang with us this week. So, anyways, should tell you guys who we are before we move on. We are Flyer Lie Golf Pod. We are an amateur golf podcast. We are amateur podcasters and amateur golfers. So it makes sense, you know. Um, yeah. Anyways, so that's what we do. We talk about amateur golf. It's me, and I'm Josh or Jish, whatever you want to call me by, and I'm with Mitch every week. We're here Thursdays, almost every Thursday now, 8 p.m. Central Normal Time, and we just chat amateur golf stories, tips, tricks, interviews with other amateur golfers, which we'll take on today, all that kind of stuff. So if you're into that, consider following our X account, which we're live on right now. Subscribe to our YouTube, which we're also live on right now. Do all that good stuff. We're looking for a community of amateur golfers, competitive golfers or not. We just love amateur golf. We can chat it up with and kind of enjoy golf on the internet together. So if you're here live, by the way, like I said, we are live. Chat along, toss out some topics if you want, ask questions. We'll see them and answer them. So, anyways, I did mention we have Chris Kinda with us at underscore. Don't forget the underscore process matters on X if you want to find him. Chris, I always try and do an intro of people when we have people on, and then I butcher it. So I'm not going to do that. And instead, how about you just tell us who you are, what your golf background is, all that good stuff. Why you're here talking to us about amateur golf? How about that?
I don't know why I'm here, but my background is I played poorly at Division III golf. I was an assistant pro for 1 year before I retired, and have just been an amateur golfer ever since. So I haven't played tournament golf since then, basically. So 25 years or so. But now I'm like, hey, let me get back into it. Now I actually have time, a little more time to go practice and try to improve instead of just playing like a dozen times a year. So I've been itching to get back into it. We'll see how it goes.
And you,
Yeah,
I saw something that said you're 20 years removed basically from competitive golf. Is that right?
Yeah, basically. I haven't really been a member at a country club until last year, so not even like club tournaments. Um, yeah, I played college golf, like I said, and then the 1 year I played a handful of tournaments around New Jersey, and playing ability test is probably the biggest tournament I've been in since college, and that was in 2003.
did you pass?
The first time I missed by 2 strokes
Ooh,
because I hit my tee shot on the 36th hole out of bounds.
man.
Ouch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a hell of a way to go.
Yeah, and then I of course parred the second ball. So
Right.
Perfect.
yeah, but then the second time I passed by a couple strokes.
So, yeah, I know you said you have more time now and you're kind of getting back into and playing more and practicing more. But what made you want to go back into tournament golf? Because that's a whole nother world than just playing more golf.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I always have that competitive nature. even a Division III college golf, I wasn't like, I was the fifth player, the guy that like his score might count if somebody else had a bad day or if I had a really good day. But I just like the competitiveness. I've always enjoyed that little stress of being nervous. And I haven't felt that in a long time. Like I'm not, comparatively, I'm not a really good amateur, but I'm better than most of the people I play with. So I don't even have that like, oh, Mitch and Josh, like I want to beat them this week. They beat me last week. I mean, most of the guys I play with shoot 90s, which I mean, it's great, like they have fun, we have fun, it's great, but I'm not standing there on like the 17th tee being like, oh, I'm a stroke down. So I kind of want to get back into that nerves.
I have that saying. I almost called it an issue, but it's not an issue because I love all the people I play golf with, and it's the same situation, I should say, where everybody I play with is like if they shoot in the 80s, we're having beers afterwards because it's an awesome round. Um, so I have the same situation. I had the struggle as well. Like I'm trying to compete, so how do I go out and play with my buddies all the time who I love playing golf with as much as possible, and how do I figure out a way to get myself to compete? So I started trying to do like mini like net tournaments because they all, for the most part, not always, but for the most part, keep good scores, so we have decent handicaps. Try and play like net golf and try and play like tournaments or play like match play and just do like some like mini shit talking and stuff just to try and get the juices going a little bit. Or like I did one thing that was pretty fun one time. I played a 2v2 match where it was me and a buddy that was a little bit better and two other people that were like 20ish handicaps, and we played. I don't remember if it was I think it was a scramble. We played a scramble, which whatever. But we did the other two guys, their hole was done once their ball made it onto the green, so they didn't have to putt. So there was no strokes involved, but once they got the ball on the green, they didn't have to putt. So we were
It's
in
interesting.
constant pressure mode to get the ball on the green and score because we knew that if they got the ball on the green, they were just done. So I've been in that situation too and been trying to figure out ways to kind of make it competitive where you're not always playing against people that are just striping it right next to you because I'm in the same situation. So I feel
Yeah.
your pain there.
It kind of feels like everyone that I have talked to on X who is a good golfer, like Chris, like Josh, like you guys here, but we all seem to have the same problem, right? Like you play with a bunch of different people, but they're all shooting high 80s, low 90s, probably in the hundreds quite a bit. And when you're trying to get better at golf, in my opinion, I think you need to play with people who are just as good or better than you because it makes you have to like really think about every shot that you're hitting. Rather than, I mean, playing net and finding games like that is awesome too because it helps to even the playing field. But to really get down to it and play gross where every shot really matters, you just need to play with people on your level or better than you. That just forces you to get better.
Yeah, I mean 100%. And you need those nerves to be able to kind of get yourself to the next level. I mean, it's just like the driving range. When you're at the driving range, everybody is a great golfer. It's because there's no pressure. There's nothing on each shot that you hit. So you hit a good shot and you get out to the golf course, there's a little bit of pressure. But when you're actually playing against people who are better than you or as good as you know, I mean, if you're competitive at all, you feel pressure. And that's what makes you either get better or you kind of cave and step back and say, yeah, like it's not really for me. I'm just out of here having fun.
Right. So tell me a little bit about how you're going to try to find ways to apply pressure to your game as you lead up to your first tournament back. How are you going to approach that?
I mean, I'm trying to figure that out. The pressure part, I'm trying to figure it out. There's all those drills that you can do where it's like, oh, I can't leave here until, I make whatever 15 out of 20 random 5-footers, scattered. And that's one way to feel pressure, when you're at like 14 and you've got 1 or 2 putts left, you have a little bit of pressure. But I also have a time constraint where, I want to be home to the family. So I can't be like, well, I'm out here for 2 hours working
I,
the
w-
strip. So
I was gonna say that. I was like, I was
yeah,
just gonna say I love those games, but you have kids. I have 2 kids now. So the question is, how do you implement that? And then, with the time constraints you have, I was gonna ask you that. So
yeah. So, I mean, the only thing I really can do as far as I figured out so far is just try to find people at my club that are better than me and be like, hey, want to play a game? Because
Mhm.
nothing I do at practice seems to add that pressure. I mean, nothing can simulate the, oh, 2 over going into the 17th hole, like, and I haven't broken 75 all year. Like,
Right.
nothing can simulate that. And, playing with my buddies, like, I mean, the one guy I played with yesterday, he's not a bad golfer by any means, but he shoots, 90, and he's intimidated to even play strokes with me. So I'm in like that limbo of like, I'm not good enough to play against, like, in theory, the tournaments unless I'm really playing well, but I'm too good for most weekend golfers who don't practice like I do,
Mhm.
So most of my friends are just like, I'm just out here having fun. I don't really care about adding the pressure to the game.
Right. I wonder, I'm just kind of brainstorming now of different ways that you could apply pressure with your time constraints. I wonder if you could do it as a game of how many putts can I make in this window, and then try to beat your score as you go about it. So if you have, a bunch of 8-footers, let's say, like how many can you make in that 10-minute window,
Mhm.
and just try to do it fast but slow, so you're still under control, but see how many that you can make, and then just try to beat your score and just try to make it a fun competitive game against yourself. That might
Yeah,
be
I mean,
an option.
for me, I feel like I would need something on there that I either don't get or get, that I really enjoy.
Hmm.
I, because again, I mean, practice, I've not really been able to simulate, no matter how many I try to do those games of like, I need to do this, I need to make this number of putts, I need to hit this number of, shots within the flags or whatever. I'm still just like, I mean, if I don't, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm not,
yeah,
I'm not gonna ground myself because I made 13 putts instead of 15. Like,
yeah.
I don't
Here's
know.
here's
I
an
haven't
idea.
figured that out.
Here's an idea, and it's something that our golf coach in high school did to us. We would play games against each other,
Hmm.
but it was like if you lost the putting match, whatever it was we were doing, is the loser would then have to run sprints like over to the first tee and back to the putting green. And nobody wanted to run sprints. We're golfers. We're not athletes, right? Like,
Speak
but
for
I
yourself,
wonder.
Mitch.
I know, right? I I wonder if there's something like that you could add to it. Just adding something that's like, I don't really want to do that, but if I don't make the putts, or if I don't get the certain number of putts I'm trying to make, then I have to go do this one thing.
Hmm.
Let's try to do something like that, maybe.
That's
Yeah, I mean,
go
sorry,
for
go
it.
ahead.
Go for it. I got a point, but I'll make it after you're done.
Okay, I was gonna say I saw basically that exact thing on Cordy Walker's um, YouTube, I think, with, was it Claude Harmon? I forget,
Hmm.
but he had it
One
where
of the
he's
Harmons, yeah.
like, "Hey, you need to simulate your heart rate being up, so you are gonna run, there and here, and then come back, and you've got 2 minutes to hit, 3 balls in the fairway." Um, Something like that. And then the other thing I saw was all right, if you don't succeed at this task, you actually have to stop practicing for 5 or 10 minutes and just sit there. And the guy, it was like, oh, I'm here to practice. Like, yeah, exactly. So you need to succeed. And if you don't practice, then, if you don't succeed, you don't get to practice. So, I mean, those are two ways that I have seen of adding pressure. I just haven't done them yet.
So what I was going to say there is I wish that, and this is exactly what Mitch said. In high school golf, you had other people to practice with and compete with in practice. Excuse me. I wish that there was, or it was more normal for adults to practice sports that they want to be competitive in together, especially golf, which is a single person, basically competitive event anyway. But growing up, I played basketball my whole life and baseball, and after college, a little bit of softball. So every practice was always with teams and with a friend or friends. So going to practice and doing stuff was fun because you had friends doing the same thing. And then as soon as you are done with school, your practice for stuff just ends up being on your own, and then shit gets really boring. So I wish there was a way that, and we probably don't even think about it. Like when I think about going to practice, I do not consider asking or texting anybody being like, hey, let's go practice putting together. I'm gonna beat your ass in this game. Like it's just I need to practice. I'm gonna go hit balls now. I don't even think about talking to anybody. So I wish, and maybe we should. Maybe us three are gonna start the trend where it's like, what's gonna make practice better and more fun, and that another again a way to simulate the pressure is just start practicing with other people. Just find somebody to be like, hey, I'm gonna be at the range at 3 o'clock. Meet me there. We're gonna have a competition to see who can hit more stingers around this flag or something. Like anything, just finding a way to get other people involved. I think that's when you're young. I think that's what makes practice fun is you got other people around with you, and you get older, and it's like, am I really gonna go to the putting green today and hit 50 putts by myself and just grind when it's 80 degrees and the sun's beating me in the like? No, I'm not doing that. I'll just wait until my tea time tomorrow. So, but if I had a buddy that was like, hey, let's go to the putting green and let's throw $5 on the green and see what happens, now I'm interested. So maybe us three should be the starters of that. What do you think about that, Chris?
I do actually like that idea of just grabbing somebody I know that's out there practicing too and being like, hey, $5 first person that can do this, and then just do that game like 3, 4, 5 times. Because then at least, $5 isn't going to kill me. 25 isn't going to kill me either. Same time, I don't want to lose $25.
Right,
So
exactly.
at least that's better than just, oh, I need to do this 7 out of 10 times. Oh, I only did it 6. All right, see ya. But yeah, I mean, I do like that idea of making it at least a little more competitive that way. We're both there trying to improve and see who can, whatever hit, two balls within like a 5-foot circle of the flag or
Yeah.
something that,
And that
those
doesn't
nets that
even
they have out there, 30, 40, 50 yards.
yeah, and that really doesn't even need to be like handicap based or skill based. A lot of that stuff like you can bring anybody out there, especially on the putting green because putting is
Mm-hmm.
mostly random. I mean, you can do any type of competitive stuff with anybody putting. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
Mhm.
I like that idea.
how about that? We're solving golf practice. Look at us.
You can
That's
you
the
can
whole
even
point.
do that with like skill building too, not just practice
Mm-hmm.
to
For
build
sure,
up
yeah, for sure.
it, to build the nerves up. Because I actually did that randomly a couple of years ago. Somebody was hitting balls on the range next to me, and I just told him, "Go ahead and hit one. I'm going to try to hit your ball in the air." So like I just waited for him to hit, and then I just try to like spear one into his ball. We got really close one time, but like I don't know, it was just a fun little game to do. I mean, you're trying to manipulate your trajectory to hit their ball, so it's a skill building exercise just as much
Mm-hmm.
as it could be a nerve building exercise too.
Well, it's great that you bring that up because I love the fact that back when I used to practice in college, our coach would be like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Why are you goofing off? This, like take it seriously, right? Because we'd be like, you know, topping the ball, hitting like low, cuts, and just hooking the ball, and like, come on, act serious, take this like you're actually trying to improve. And now everything is build your skill by topping the ball, by
Yeah.
hitting the low punch out hook, by hitting the high push fade, like all the stuff that I wasn't able to do in college is now like, hey, this is the way to build your skills and get better.
Mhm.
It's so funny how it's just gone
You
complete, like
you sound like a student of
180.
Adam Young, by the way.
Oh, I mean, I love Adam Young. I love Adam Young. And I actually read a book called The Science of Skill Acquisition that led me down this whole rabbit hole of
Oh no.
Now we have
yeah,
to down the rabbit hole. Let's go.
yeah. And it's all skill building. So it's all like constraints led approach to building your skill. And it's basically repetition without repetition, right? Don't sit on the driving range like we all do and hit 7-iron or 25 times in a row. You're like, I'm really good. Like, yeah, you're great right now, but tomorrow that doesn't transfer. So it's all okay, like play a round of golf, hit your driver, then hit your punch 4-iron because you hit the ball in the trees, and now you've got a partial wedge shot, and now the next hole is a 9-iron off the tee, and then the next hole after that is a 5-wood. And it's all like doing different shots because that's what you're going to see on the course.
Mhm.
And it dawned on me that the constraints, yeah, I don't know how much you guys know about constraints. I'm going to assume nothing because I just learned about it, so nobody else knows. Constraints are things that, force you to do something a certain way. So like I just played yesterday, and it was 30-mile-an-hour wind. Clearly a constraint because I had to play a lot of knockdown shots, and I had to try to play a lot of draws into a left to right wind. And, it's reading this and like listening to these podcasts. I'm like, that's all golf is. Golf is just problem solving based off of your constraint. If there's if the pin is tucked right over the bunker, you have to hit either something high or out to the side. If it's a dog leg left, you either have to hit a draw or hit like an iron or a 5-wood because you don't want to hit it too. That's all golf is, problem solving based off of the options that you have. It's not hit driver after driver after driver after driver.
Mm-hmm.
And that essentially is Adam Young. Like I was reading this stuff and I messaged him and I was like, how did you figure this out? Like years ago. Like I read your book and it still didn't even dawn on me what you're doing. Like you're saying build the skills because that's what golf is. Golf is having to hit that push, punch, cut, not just having to hit a stock 7-iron with a 2-yard draw every single time.
It's
Off the perfect flat lie at that, right? Like,
yeah, and that's what I
right.
mean. Like, I mean, a fairway and a tee are two complete. Even if you have the same exact distance, same winds, pin in the middle every time, it's a little different.
Yeah, it's amazing how golf has kind of it's been this way for a while, but it shifted from, you got to be a good, shot shaper, and you got to hit the ball straight and hit the fairways, and if you miss a fairway, you're dead basically, and it doesn't matter if you're long or short, as long as you hit the fairway, you're going to be good. And now it's all like we're combining being able to hit shots that you need to hit, which if you got to hit a low one, you have to be able to hit it. If you have a stock fade, you have to know how to hit a draw so you can do that stuff. And then you combine that with a massive strategy piece that basically Tiger was really the first one to really implement. That was like big time, where it's okay, maybe it really doesn't matter if I'm in the fairway. I have this strategy here in front of me. I set it out so that everything I do, I know that the next thing I do is gonna, I'm gonna do something to set me up for success on the next one, and then so forth, so on and so forth, so on and so forth, versus just, oh, club, I need to get ball to fairway, fairway, ball to green, and there's way more into it now, which I think is a really big contributor, and I don't think a lot of people really acknowledge that. Everyone just says, "Oh, hit ball far, score good," sort of, but there's also like a lot of people love to say hit ball far, a lot of balls in trees too. A lot of it is the strategy on
Plus so
top
many
of
balls
it.
yesterday.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah. A lot of it's the strategy behind it where it's yeah, you have to hit the ball far, but also you have to be conscious of how like the direction that it's going. So all that there's so much like you said, so much thinking, so much process behind how you're going to do what you do and the shots that you have to hit that you can score better. And I think that's why scoring, other than like the hitting the ball far is helping scoring, but people are so much smarter now in terms of following processes and all that stuff. So it's easier to score really. And
Mhm.
yeah, exactly. It's exactly what you said. Just whatever
Mhm.
constraints you got in front of you, you put a strategy around it and you tackle it. So it's a much different game now. It's very interesting.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they also show you. Go ahead, Mike.
No, I was gonna say, like I said, it's all just problem solving. That's all we're ever
Yeah.
doing, and that's the same approach when whether it's a a tournament round or a fun round. Like you're just trying to put your ball into a place with a good target, good club selection, and try to hit it into a spot that you can get a shot at the green. Right, like that's all you're really trying to do, no matter what. And I mean, when you think about it that way, golf is a really simple game. Like the strategy behind it, so simple. Execution obviously is much different, but yeah, solve problems that sit there in front of you and move along.
Hmm. Yeah, and you know those constraints show you also what you need to work on. Like yesterday, it was 30-mile-an-hour winds. My good shots were downwind, wind off the right. My bad shots into the wind off the left. Pretty clear what I need to work on, right? I can hit a fade, I can hit a cut, I can hit a slice. I have difficulty hitting a draw. So when the wind was off the left and I hit a ball that had a little fade to it, it had a big fade, and I hit a ball that had, let's call it a slice, it went in the woods. So, I mean, it really showed me yesterday, as pissed as I was at my game, what I needed to focus on and improve and really, and even during the round, like my front nine and back nine were a 10-stroke difference because I actually was like, I'm struggling with this wind direction and it's because I can't hit the ball left. I need to really try to hook the ball
Mhm.
with that wind. And it helped me actually hit the ball somewhat where I wanted to go. So even just mid round, it shows you what you need to change in order to actually turn it around, which I always had the most struggle with before.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's when we talk about that differential practice, like Adam Young, like understanding how to
Yeah.
hit the different shots. Like then in the middle of the round, you can adjust on the fly, which will help your score overall. And and I also want to go back and touch base on what you said that you know oh well, how'd you word it? Um, Basically, like the constraints allow you to show what you need to work on, and what you
Mhm.
took away from your round is I need to be able to hit a draw into the left, a left to right wind, because a lot of people, I don't think they think about that type of thing after the round. Like they don't sit back, analyze, and be like, okay, this is what I was struggling with. This is what I need to improve on. What most people like to do when they go and practice, they like to do the things that they're good at because they want to feel good about their game. But
Mhm.
that's not how we improve. We improve by, yeah, touching a little bit on the stuff that we're good at so that it stays good, but then really focusing on the things that we struggle with to improve in those areas. It's just like anything in life. If you want to get better, you have to step outside of your comfort zone and try something different.
100%.
So speaking of improving all of these things and all of the constraints in golf, what so you're preparing yourself for your return to competitive golf. You have the as you tweeted, so I'm not doxing you. You already doxed yourself.
No.
You have the Maryland Mid-Am, the Maryland State Mid-Am coming up. What are there
When I tweeted
spec
that, only 20 people saw it.
Well, they'll be 21 now. Uh, what is there anything specific in your game other than trying to kind of get like the competitive juices flowing, kind of getting the feeling back of kind of that pressure and stuff? Is there anything specific in your game that you're really focusing on that you think is going to help you be a better competitor in that event, whether it's like off the tee, or maybe your short game is
Mhm.
awful, or is there anything specific you're working on to kind of get better?
Yeah, I mean, so I don't think I do any single thing great. What I think my main strength is distance. Like I'm one of those golfers that Lou Stagno tweets out like, "Oh, if you hit the ball over 270, like 90% of the time, 90% of the people who do are, have a handicap under 6." Right? Like that's the category I fall in. I don't have a low handicap because I'm a great ball striker. I'm great at putting. I'm average to above average in everything, and I'm way above average with length. So what I need to work on is keeping the ball in play. Like, um,
We would be good
you
practice
know,
buddies, by the way.
yeah, yeah. Like if I hit a tee shot and I have a clear path to the hole, it's like a 75% chance I make par, right? If I, have one of my tee shots that I can have, 75% chance I make double bogey. So it's those 3 to 4 swings around that, essentially make me shoot 80 instead of 75, 76. I mean, for years I've looked at my scorecard and be like, well, if golf was only 14 holes, I'd be 1 under par. And then you throw in the other 4 and I'm 7 over par, and I shot a 78, which is still a great round of golf. But I always looked at it as like, I could be so much better. So yeah, I need I need to focus on base control and path control with my driver, especially. Um, yeah, I mean, it does you no good to hit a 280-yard drive if it goes out of bounds or
That's
it's in the
right.
trees.
Mhm.
And I don't want to hit a 4 iron or 5 wood because I can keep it in play and then be 10 yards behind the competitors that I should be out driving by 40 yards.
Right.
50, like it's my strength. So I'm really focusing right now on harnessing, even if it's a fairway finder that goes 260, 270, especially if I can hit that into the wind, it's kind of like a knockdown fairway finder that goes under through the wind and will still go 250, 260 into a headwind. Um, I think that'll give me a huge advantage.
Have you looked into a mini driver?
I haven't.
I just got one because I have the same issue you do. I hit the ball much further than anybody else, really. But so I can score in the 60s if I hit the ball good off the tee, and I can also shoot
Mhm.
80 because I can hit it in the woods 100 times. So I ditched my 3 wood, which I previously had really only used it around the greens to like kind of poke it out of like side lies and stuff. I use it more around the greens than I use anywhere. So I was like, what do I need a 3 wood for? That makes no sense. I haven't used it outside yet, but the times I've used it inside, dispersion is nice and it still goes far. You may want to consider a mini driver. I'll find
Yeah,
out.
I
I'll
mean,
find out outside this year, but I'm liking it so far.
maybe I'll replace my actual driver with that.
I wouldn't do that. That, like you said, you really don't want to lose your distance advantage, especially on holes where it just doesn't matter. Which for a lot of holes it really doesn't. There are courses where it matters. And if you play in Minnesota, there are a lot of courses that matters. But um, there, like you really can't lose that advantage. But if you can put something else in your bag where the trees start kind of creeping in on you, or there's a pond on the left there that kind of creeps in on you, and you're like, okay, like my dispersion just doesn't make sense here. Now you have another weapon in your bag that isn't a flat, tiny 3-wood that you can miss easily. Like I don't understand why people club down to 3-woods and think that they hit it straighter. They just don't. The head is just so much smaller. Different problem for a different day. But anyways, so if you have this is my thing. You have this mini driver now where the head is a little smaller, but it's still big. A lot of space to miss. Dispersion gets a little smaller. Now you can feel confident and swing away and still have that good distance. I think for any long hitter, I think it's an awesome option to put in your bag. And I know that there are a handful of pros that have put mini drivers in their bag too. They're taking out woods at the top to put in a mini driver. So I would consider it if I was you.
Well,
I'll look into it.
yeah, I have a couple follow-up things with what's being talked about here. So one, I kind of want to go back because you said there's always a few holes that you struggle with because you hit a bad tee shot and it puts you in a bad position. You end up with a double. Have you ever tracked to see if is it the same holes or is it different holes? Does it not really matter? Is there like a common denominator there?
The common denominator is me.
Yeah.
Well,
besides you swinging, like I guess I'm thinking like, is there like a mental thing, like when you're looking at a hole, like you don't like the look of it and you end up blocking it, or big slice, something that happens there?
Yeah, no, I mean that's a great question. I've definitely thought about it, but like on the course I play the most, it could happen on any hole. There's not any one hole where I step up to the tee and I'm like, geez, this is the hole where I always block it out of bounds. Like it's swing by swing. I just have, I'll call it a glitch in my swing every now and then where I just leave the club face like 2-3 degrees open.
Mm.
And when I already play like a 10-yard fade, when I'm hitting the ball really well, I love watching it just fall from the, left center of the fairway down to the center of the fairway. But then when you have that club face 2.5 degrees open, that 10-yard fade becomes a 50-yard slice and it's gone. There's no hole that shot will play. And on top of that, that shot ends up going like 240, 250. So if it is in play, I'm way back in the woods, and that's at best. But no, it's my swing. I probably need lessons. I don't really take lessons. I work on my own game, my own skills, and that's probably a byproduct of having given lessons back 25 years ago. That Dunning-Kruger effect of I know enough about the golf swing. I really know I don't. I just don't have the time, the funds to invest in lessons and take them, and just like every week do them, work on my game, etc. I just enjoy going out, practicing, figuring it out myself, going and play. I mean, this is my first year getting back into competitive golf. If I love it and I really want to do well, I would definitely look into lessons then. But, for the last 20 years, it's just been me going out with my buddies and trying to play well, and them all being like, wow, you're really great. And me being like, yeah, like I could be really great if the whole, the course was 4 holes less.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, long answer long. I think it's just me. It can happen on any club. It can happen on an 8-iron, not just a driver.
Right. No, that's good. And that's good for you to even be thinking about that. Cause I know at my home course, there's a couple of holes where I just don't like the look of them. The tee shot, like there's more room out there than what it looks like, but it messes with my brain. And I have a tendency to overthink it, and then I could block it, or I'll just duck hook it. Like it can get pretty nasty. But yeah, the other thing you said next would be the fairway finder. that's something I think all of us would want to try to develop, but actually getting it is a little bit more difficult.
Especially when you swing fast.
Yeah, yeah, your cone gets a lot bigger the further the ball goes out, right? Um, but yeah, I don't know if you ever see the Tiger Woods is right. He tees it down really low and hits like a little heel cut, like that's his fairway finder. Like maybe try that. Just tee it down and hit it off the bottom of the face, off the heel, and let's let it go.
If I could purposely hit it off the heel, I wouldn't be.
Another Adam Young lesson for you there.
My shots are already like,
No.
but that, I mean, that is exactly what and that's the other embarrassing thing. Like, I never worked on a fairway finder until last fall. I was always just like, I hit it far, I'm going to hit it far. If I keep it in play, I'll play well. And if I don't play well. But now I am working on a fairway finder, which is exactly that minus the purposely hitting it off the heel. Tee it down. I swing more left. I tend to, so I try to get more on my left, which shifts my swing path more to the right. So to counteract, I try to swing more left. And I'm working on it. So maybe a third to half the time I hit it great. And it's like a bullet that comes out, only carries like 230, 240, but if the fairway's not wet, rolls a ton. Which would be great, especially playing in wind, and everything like that. Problem is I tried the fairway finder and duck hooked one the other day. But I mean, you're going to do that when you're learning it, and out on the course, that's going to happen. And then, the round later, I didn't hit it low, and it was just a big sweeping slice. So I'm still trying to get it down, but I really am working on that too, because the back nine of the course that I'm playing is the first 3 holes look, on the GPS, like tight. And the first hole's a 580-yard par 5. And the next one, it comes right back. It's like 550 par 5. And then it's like a 470 par 4. And all 3 of them look like I need to hit a 275-yard shot straight in order to think about scoring on that hole. And like I said, I have no confidence that I can do both of those. So I'm trying to work on that fairway finder, that if I can hit it 270, 260, something like that, where I know even if I aim down the left tree line, I'll be or left rough, I'll be in the left rough, or it fades back. I think I'll play well. But I know, like, that's a course that I could either shoot, 75 on because I played those 3 holes in 1 over, or I can shoot 88 because I played those 3 holes in 7 over. So we'll see. I'm very confident in my game.
You're like every golfer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're all like that. Could be great. Like, that's
my buddies are like, oh, I'm intimidated to play with you. And I'm like, bro, I'm too worried about playing poorly myself. I don't care that you're shooting, like 95 and you're mad. Like, as long as we're out there and yeah, we hit a bad shot, we curse, we laugh at each other, and then we move on and hit the next shot. I don't care. We all think that we suck no matter how good we are.
Yep. And no matter how much better you get, I'll never forget. When I started my golf journey here, I was regularly shooting in the 90s or whatever, and I would shoot 100 and I would be annoyed. And then you practice, and then it's like, all right, I'm shooting in the 80s now. I'm getting a little bit better. And then I'd shoot in the 90s and I'd be annoyed. A year ago, I shot in the 90s. I was like, dang, that was a pretty good round. And then I got a little better and started shooting the 70s a little bit. And then I'd shoot 85 and I'd be annoyed. It's like 2 years ago, 85 was like, sweet. And now it's like, if I get anywhere near the 80s, it's like, this is the worst round I've ever played. Like, I should be, like, my score should start with a 6. My score should never be close to an 8. So it just doesn't really matter how good or bad you are.
Hmm.
There's always the level that's like, hey, this is good for me, this is bad for me, and everybody has it. So the, that's the interesting part about playing with people that are better or worse than you. We all have the same kind of range where we're like, this score sucks ass, this score is good, this is average-ish, and we all feel the same thing, but our scores are all different. The weird mental part is you look at your buddy who is better or worse than you, and they're happy or annoyed with the score that you wouldn't be happy or annoyed with. So I like you and I play with similar players, so like I shoot 75 and I'm like average, I guess it's fine. And they're like, dude, you should be happy with the 75. Like, I would kill to shoot 75. It's like, well, we're playing a little bit different games, so it's it's an interest. By the way, that's a mental battle. We've talked about mental battles here a lot. A mental battle for golfers that are not, like in the scratchish range, that are playing with people that are in that range, figuring out how to go out and play golf and have fun playing golf with people that are much much better than you, and just figuring out how to ignore it, because it's easy for me to ignore other people that are shooting 85 or 90 or whatever, because that, well, to me anyway, it just doesn't matter in general. But for good golfers, it's easier to ignore people that are kind of, excuse me, spraying it around the course, because it just, you're not competing with them. It doesn't really matter. It's a mental battle when you're the 10 handicap playing with the 0 to say, I want to try and be as good as them, or stuff along those lines, and then it kind of ruins the enjoyment a little bit. It's an interesting mental battle to get around, especially for higher handicaps, trying to figure out how to enjoy golf while also trying to score well. I wish there was a good way to teach people how to figure that out, because I've had a lot of people tell me that, like, they don't like playing with me because I score well. And it's like, by the way, to be fair, I used to not be fun to play with. I used to be club thrower, club slammer. That I used to be that guy. I'm not that guy anymore. So I'm told now that it's just not fun to play with me because I score well. So it's like, I wish that wasn't the guy. In some cases, I wish I was worse, so people would enjoy playing with me more.
Yeah, I feel that every now and then. I go play with family, and they're talking about how they shot a 94, but if they would have did this, and this, it would have been an 89. Now I'm like, I shot a 76, and they're like, we don't care anyway.
Yeah.
Like, they go back to their conversation about how they could have almost broke 90. Like, yeah. It's about trying to find that mental, that joy in your round, even though it's like nobody else that you're playing with really cares because they're just so caught up about their thing. But it's interesting.
It is.
What trips me out is how much people expect to be really good, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'll hit a shot from 200 yards to like 45 feet, and I'll be like, "Fuck yeah, that was
Good
awesome!"
shot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like hell yeah, that was great. And then my buddies will be, from 150 yards, put it to like 25 feet, and be like, "Oh." And I'm like, are you kidding? Like you just gave yourself a birdie opportunity, and likely par. Like, when you're shooting 90, every par is one shot closer to shooting 85. Like,
Yeah,
all
100%.
you need to do is make 18 bogeys, that's 90, obviously. Good math. But you throw in 4 pars, and all of a sudden you're basically shooting, 86, 85, and you're like, hey, I'm a 10, 12 handicap, and it's just 3 or 4 pars around. So every time you set yourself up to make a par, you hit a great shot and played a great hole. No matter, even for you, Josh, like pars are probably a little bit easier for you when you're shooting 75, but every time you make a par, it's a great hole.
100%. Yeah.
I take
Every time I have a tap in par, unless my birdie putt is inside of 2.5 feet, I say that was great. That was fantastic.
Yep.
If I stick, the one-off chance I stick an 8-iron to 10 feet and I miss the putt, I'm like, damn, hell of a par. That was easy. Like, That's I think that's what we all need to realize, that golf is hard. You know, the pros that we watch, they make it look easy. They're having tap in pars, you know, I mean, and also tap in for them is 4 feet, but they're making pars left and right. For us, pars are like birdies.
Mhm.
Every par you make is a fantastic hole. I don't care if it's a 380-yard par five. You par it, you play that hole well.
Hmm.
That's it. That's all it comes down to.
I actually think you would hear. I think you would hear more pros than you think say the same thing. I think TV does a little injustice to just pros are really, 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 really good, but
I
they
hate the
will
announcers.
only show you the good stuff. They don't show you the bad stuff. If you go and watch a tour event, they hit some really fucking bad shots, like
Mhm.
like really, really bad. And I think obviously they hit like wedges and stuff way closer than we do, and they will expect to make more birdies and stuff. But I think more than you think or anybody would think, if you asked pros like, what do you think a good score on just like a average hole would be? They would say par, I think,
Mhm.
because it's just an impossibly hard game, and TV does a bad job of just showing us just how hard it is. They just show us how easy it is, or how perceived easy it is for pros, because birdies are fun,
Yeah.
and
And
And then
that's what people want to see. So we get a weird distorted view of how pro golf is. And again, don't get me wrong, pros are wildly, wildly, wildly good, but they
insanely good.
also make a whole lot of pars, and
Yeah.
most of them, I'm guessing, would say if they got a par in every hole, they'd probably be happy with that.
yeah, I just have two things to add to that. One, broadcasters, like you hear them constantly say, "Oh, they have a wedge in their hand from 150 yards. They're going to be real mad if they don't get this inside of 10 feet." Like, no, like they're going to be extremely happy if they get it inside
With
of
the
10.
pin tucked over a bunker
Yeah,
next to one.
Right, exactly.
yeah, exactly. And then talking about just how good pros are and how they hit a bunch of bad shots. Um, I went to the 3M Open a couple years ago, sat on the 13th hole. It's a par three. I was up by the green. I think I watched 6 groups come through. That sounds about right. And I think of those 12 players, I think it was 4 of them or 5 of them went into the greenside bunker. So a whole bunch of them missed the green and went into the bunker. It's like a 190-yard
Yeah,
par
it's
three.
it's like over 200, yeah, something like that, depending where the
Yeah.
box is. Yeah.
Yeah. But then I also watched 3 of them hole out for birdies, and only one of them made a bogey. So, like, just talking about how good they are, like, they hit bad shots, but they don't usually follow it up with another bad shot.
Yep.
Yeah, that is
That's
that
why
is
they're
the
so good.
key. Yep.
Yeah, they I mean, if you watch the Bryan brothers, Wesley Bryan, right? He's in the trees all the time.
He
But what he
sprays it
doesn't do
everywhere.
is punch out into another tree that goes into the hazard. I mean, except when he almost falls into the hazard and hits the ball in the hazard. But, you know, like he usually punches out, hits some great shot that we all think we can hit, and ends up saving par or having a birdie opportunity. And it's, yeah, they can hit a bad shot just like we can, but they make better choices and their dispersion is way smaller. So even if they're aimed at the center of the green, you know, their dispersion is usually like left side of the green, right side of the green. Their dispersion isn't 15 yards right, 15 yards left of the green. So, yeah, I mean, they're doing essentially the same thing we are with the water on the right and a 9 iron in their hand. They're still aiming for the center of the green, and they're hoping that that dispersion, you know, puts them to 10 feet or 25 feet, and they either have a really easy par, maybe birdie, or, oh, you know, like I have to work a little for this par.
Mhm.
Yep.
But
I
I
always
am,
love. So, sorry, I was gonna say, I love
oh,
the
God.
par threes, and they make the like pros will make a hole in one or whatever, and they'll go interview them, and 90+% of the time it's gotta be close to that. They say like, walk me through the hole in one, tell me what you did, what club you hit, blah blah blah, and they're like, oh yeah, like I like pull thin to 4-iron, and it just like
Mhm.
skipped off the top of the bunker and went in. Like I was aiming 40 yards right, and like I made a hole in one. Like I bet 90% of the time you ask a pro when they make a hole in one, like, did you hit the exact shot that you were trying to hit? They probably will say no.
Yeah.
So
Sounds right.
No,
I
when like
just love
Scott
that.
Fawcett does the scatter plot of like where the balls end up on the PGA Tour hole, you know, overlaid with the hole and the water's on the left and the pin's on the left. It's like 2 balls in the left, maybe like 20 balls at the pin, 50 balls in the center, and then 30 balls on the right. Like it's clear that they don't go for the pins, but then the announcers are like, he's going to be disappointed with that. He hit that wedge to 20 feet. Like, yeah, because it's tucked over water next to the bunker. He doesn't want to make bogey with a wedge in his hand. He wants to give himself a makeable birdie putt from 15 feet.
Yep.
That's it. That's all he wants to do. He's not pissed that he hit it to 20 feet. And you can see too, like half the time, with the water on the right, they hit the ball, and if they show them long enough, you'll see them like slump their arms, like, oh no, like you can see that deflated, like it's going right, like it's going at the pin. I hope it holds on. And then they hit it to like 2 feet, and the announcer's like, what a great shot.
And they
Guarantees
just didn't
a pro
try.
the whole time. The whole time the pros go, oh fuck.
Yeah.
It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah. They're not robots.
No.
But
as
the
much as
last
they're
thing I
made
am
to
doing
be.
to prepare, the senior PGA championship is out here at Congressional. So I volunteered. I'm going to go follow around some groups. I'm hoping to see Greggy.
The Greggy.
I don't know if he's playing it or not, but I'm hoping to go see him. But I mean, that's one thing I'm definitely going to take note of is what are they trying to do? Like, are they actually firing at pins on the right, or are they mostly playing for the center of the green and then firing in when they have a half wedge from 60 yards that they know their dispersion is only like 20 feet.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
yeah, I'm definitely I'm
Smart.
trying. Yeah, I'm gonna try to do that to see how they plan around the course.
Yeah. My I tell anybody that asks, we have the 3M Open here, and we're 6 years in now, I think. 6 years. So I've gone all 6 years, every year except once. I've gone 3 times for every year. So I go practice round day on Thursday or Friday, and then Saturday or Sunday. So I kind of catch I get the practice round, I catch the like lead up to the cut, and then like people that are kind of grinding to win. So 3 like pretty unique views of a tournament. By far, my favorite days are the practice round days because you
Mhm.
get in super close. There's like 7 people there. You can hear their conversations. You can hear how they're planning to play holes. You can hear the player caddy conversations. You can hear everything and then watch how they execute and watch all the stuff. You learn so much from watching pros play practice rounds. It's unbelievable. It's by far my favorite day. It, by far over like a Thursday or a Friday where they're grinding to make cuts, but also like they're just playing golf. They're not like you can't get close enough to hear them. They're not really interested in you. Like I could on a practice round day, I could yell out to like Ricky Fowler if I wanted to and be like, "Hey, what were you thinking there?" And he'd probably answer me, but he wouldn't on like Friday. So, if you can go to those and kind of get up and close in here, you should do that. It's awesome learning
Yeah,
experience.
that's my plan. And the other thing too that I realized, if you go to any pro tournament and go to the range, they all hit the same shot. I remember watching
Yep.
BJ Sting at the range from 100 yards put 20 balls in a row within like 6 feet. But then they get out on the course and they don't do that. Like there's something different. The range, 20 in a row, there's no bunker, there's no penalty. He's firing at it. He gets into a groove, like it's easy for him. Get out on the course. Now they're in the rough, the bunker's on the left. They don't want to hit it in the bunker if it doesn't come out as expected. So they aim right, and now they have a 20-footer. And it's like, is that the same guy that can hit 20 in a row to 6 feet? Yeah, it's the same guy. Just golf's a different game when you get off the range.
Mhm.
And for everybody, for the pros, for us amateurs, for weekend golfers, like it's all different, but we all act like, oh, it's the range. And if I can hit 27 irons in a row and group the last 5, I can play golf really well. It's not the case. It's
Yeah.
not.
Yep.
No.
But as we're coming up here on our time, I want to be mindful of that too. I do want Krista. I want you to answer one question for me. What is the what is your best memory of playing competitive golf? I'm not going to go most embarrassing.
Oh yeah.
We did that last.
I mean,
I thought that's where you were going.
If you want to share an embarrassing one, you can.
I thought that's where you're going.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, most embarrassing, of course, is the pressure-filled moments where you screw up. You know, like the first tee and you blast the ball into way out of bounds or in the hazard, top it in the hazard. We've all done that. The best I can remember, because my competitive golf was 25 years ago, but I played in a public course club championship, and I played against a Division I golfer who was like moved in town from like Indiana. It was like, I'm gonna sign up for it, and I'm like, this is the course I've been playing for like 3 years. I'm gonna beat you. I'm not gonna let you think. He beat me, but I was 3 down with 3 holes to play, and I went birdie, and just missed my birdie putt on the last hole. It was a 2-day tournament, 36 holes. So I was that close to coming back from 3 down with 3 to play, which, I mean, even though I didn't do it, I'm like, the fact that I stepped up and I hit a wedge and a 5-iron and made the putts and then just missed on the par 5. I mean, that's essentially my last taste of tournament golf. Then I'm like, I want to get back to it. Like, if I was able to step up in those moments and do it, I think I can still step up now. We'll see.
I love it. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing. I assume you'll be tweeting about it, so I'll be paying attention.
Yeah, good or bad. My round yesterday, I shot 90 in the wind. So,
Chris, there's a very important.
But I'm working
rule.
on things.
There's a very important golf rule on X. Very important. You only post the good things.
No, I post everything.
It's better that way actually than the handicap police can't come get you. I've got to fight with those guys all the time, man. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Handicap police.
Before we send you into our conclusion, Mitch, I do have to plug our Land of Lakes golf tour. Is that okay?
Yeah, obviously.
Perfect. Okay.
Butter?
By the way, when we were naming this, I was like, boy, that seems really close to the butter. I don't know if that's a good idea, but it kind of stuck, so that's what we went with. Anyways, Land of Lakes golf tour for Minnesota golfers, of course. It is a new tour in Minnesota, built around flexible scheduling for people like us 3 who have busy lives and can't always play single day tournaments on like a Saturday morning or a Wednesday afternoon or whenever the hell they do their single day tournaments. It's you play your 1 tournament round, you get 2 weeks span to play it. So play it anytime in 2 weeks and you are counted for the event. Weekly payouts or winnings, season long FedEx Cup style race, including like major events where kind of points are elevated and stuff, which is fun. The courses are all over the Twin Cities. They're really nice courses. They're not like the like goat ranches, so we got some good courses on the schedule. Early bird pricing for the tour is done technically tomorrow. Spoiler, Mitch, I was out for this week having a baby. Well, I didn't have a baby yet, but I was there. We may extend that. But for now, tomorrow is the last day to get the early bird pricing, $150 off of a 450 entry, so $300, really good deal. So if you're a Minnesota golfer, you're interested in competitive golf, want to play in a golf tour, play with cool dudes, I'll play with you eventually. I'm not cool, but I can play with you if you want. Join us. It's a fun tour. First year this year. Should be fun. So that's that. Anyways.
Ooh.
Mitch, close us, please, because you're good at this and I'm not.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for the lead up. But anyway, like, subscribe, follow, share, both on our X page, our YouTube page. We appreciate it. We appreciate you guys following, listening along. Hoping to talk more amateur golf, talk to maybe Chris again after his tournament this year, and
Yes.
meet more people and build this group of amateur golfers to talk golf and play golf and do whatever we got to do.
Yeah. And thanks for hanging out with Chris. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Have fun, guys.
Yeah, we'll be back next Thursday pending any computer issues. 8 p.m. Central Normal Time. We'll see you guys then.